A regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District will be held Monday, April 22nd, 2024, beginning at 5 p.m. in the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom of the Administration Building of the McAllen Independent School District located at 2000 North 23rd Street. Items listed on this agenda may be taken in an order other than as shown on this agenda. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. At this meeting, there may be discussion and action by the board on the items and subjects listed as follows. Item 1, call the meeting to order. I have done so at 5 p.m. Item 2, we will now have a moment of silence. Thank you. Item 3, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, public comments.
Here are the public comment procedures. Number 1, individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment shall sign up at McAllenISD.org at least 1 hour prior to the start of the scheduled meeting. Number 2, an individual's comments to the board shall not exceed 2 minutes per meeting. Number 3, the board shall not tolerate disruption of the meeting by members of the audience. Thank you.
Información a personas para comentarios públicos. Número 1. Las personas que deseen participar durante la parte de la reunión designada por comentarios públicos deberán registrarse en McAllenisd.org al menos 1 hora antes del inicio de la reunión programada. Número 2. Los comentarios de un individuo a la Junta no excederán de 2 minutos por reunión. Y por último, número 3. La Junta no tolerará la perturbación de la reunión por parte de los miembros del público asistente. Gracias.
Okay, we have one person signed up this evening, Sylvia Tanguma.
I just realized I printed it really small and my eyes need bigger print. But good afternoon, President Alisada and trustees. So as district employees, the individuals that have been serving in the ESSER-funded positions have struggled through COVID lockdown, the ensuing COVID academic slide. Most of you sitting here were not privy to statements made during the many special board meetings regarding ESSER-funded positions with the previous administration. Through the process, they have had faith that their skills, qualifications, and performance were always going to be taken into consideration regardless of whatever challenges the district faced. It is disheartening to think that within the district, an employee service record and high qualifications may no longer play a part in the decision-making. Keep in mind, these are highly qualified, exemplary McAllen ISD educators that were hand-selected by the district administration to train and prepare new and experienced teachers. Some were placed by principals into these positions while others applied. During the June 14, 2021 meeting, when the first coach position was being created, Mrs. V was asked by board members how these positions would be funded. And Mrs. V stated through ESSER monies. Then she stated this position would come from a very good teacher. A teacher would be applying for this type of job, and if at the end they know, well, this is good for 3 years, they always know if you're a great teacher teaching teachers for 3 years on a grant, you definitely would have your teaching job. Some teaching job in our district back at the 199. In the July 26, 2021 meeting, Mrs. V stated, these are very hand-selected skilled educators. That will be the branch of central office curriculum and instruction, but they'll be at the campus. So these people will be brought in before the year begins with teachers. At the end, they have more days, and we're looking for a very, very strong, steady, consistent, calibrated approach that reassures our teachers. I don't know if you want me to continue.
You can go ahead and finish.
Okay. She also stated, our curriculum and instruction people have master's degree in reading, master's degrees in curriculum instruction. They are loaded up in the elementary level. It's such an impressive team. So we have these experts that have that kind of credibility that will face the teachers with lessons made for them. So we want to be organized and steady, ready for our teachers. Last one. Then on March 26, 2023 board workshop, Mr. Miller presented a slide showing which ESSER-funded positions will continue to be funded. The slide reads, administration is reducing the number of ESSER employees through attrition, vacancies, or repurposing. Remaining ESSER employees may be repurposed depending upon vacancies and funding availability. There was no question that at the end of the 2024 school year, positions were going to be eliminated. But what about the 39 positions of people that are remaining in these positions? That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Sandoval.
Thank you.
That's our only public comment person signed up tonight. We're at number 5, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, on item 5A, we're going to start off with a couple of videos that we have. But earlier this month, our students across the district had the unique opportunity to view a solar eclipse. It was a science lesson that came to life for all of our students, and we have a video on that event. Go ahead and play the video.
Morris took us out on the opportunity to go and see the solar eclipse, which is a rare moment for all of us. It's not something you see very often, and it's a nice experience. The sun is really nice, and the glasses are quite important.
Today was the North American total eclipse, and in our area, we got about a 92% eclipse, so we wanted to have all of our students on McAllen ISD kind of take advantage and have our teachers use this as a learning experience. This is something that happens very rarely when it comes to total eclipses, and for these students, they aren't going to get to experience this for another probably 40 years in their lifetime.
I think it's awesome that the district allowed us to participate in this event, and that my principal was able to get all our students viewing glasses. I know the kids are going to remember this, and if they don't get to see the next one, or I don't get to see the next one, they at least experience it now, thanks to our district.
Thank you. On item 5B, autism awareness, and as you know, this is Autism Awareness Month. McAllen ISD held its annual Autism Awareness Walk at DQ Fan Field, and we also have a video to show those highlights. Go ahead.
We are celebrating and bringing awareness on students with autism. So we invite parents, staff, and community members to our McAllen Stadium to participate in a 1-mile walk to bring awareness. No matter the child's disability, no matter the need, we are an inclusive district, and we provide support and needs to all of our students, including students with autism.
Okay. Nice videos that we have of our kids. Moving on to item 5C, the Pony World Series is coming to McAllen. Last week, the Boys and Girls Club of McAllen announced that the International Pony World Series will be coming to McAllen this summer. McAllen ISD will be one of the sponsors for this world event. And we also have a video of the announcement of this event that will be taking place. Go ahead.
United States Pony South Zone has selected our great city of McAllen to host the 3rd international tournaments here in our community.
It's girls athletics, and it's a wonderful opportunity. You know, the Boys and Girls Club down the school district, we've been partners with them forever. So the partnership is very real. We're so excited. Any way that we can help our children excel, we're always about that.
Pony South Zone delegation has selected once again McAllen, Texas to host their international softball tournament
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. We're now at item 6, recognitions. 6A, recognition of McAllen Independent School District United Way campaign. Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, representatives from the United Way of South Texas are here to recognize McAllen ISD's contribution to the United Way. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Mark May, who will introduce our guest. Go ahead, Mr. May.
Thank you, sir. And we'll let our board get into place. And we have with us tonight, representing United Way of South Texas, Mr. Gerardo Paz, South Texas Federal Credit Union and United Way Board Chairman. Also, Lily Lopez Calilla from United Way President, and Cesar Rodriguez, City of McAllen and United Way Board Member. Yeah. And we also have with us the top elementary school from Gonzales Elementary, Principal Ms. Cristina Hernandez. Yeah. And then our point person for McAllen ISD, Ms. Ann Vega, Director of Digital Learning and Libraries.
Everybody see me? Perfect. No, we're good. I think that's good. All right. Perfect. All right, big smiles on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Got it. Excellent. Thank you.
And I do want to share that McAllen ISD, for the 6th year in a row, was the winner of the Golden Apple Award, finishing as the top school district in this region.
Work. It's open. Can you hear me? Okay, excellent. Thank you. Again, Board of Trustees, we would like to thank your time and support. And we, as I mentioned, would like to recognize McAllen ISD as a top 5 school district. Also, we are honored to give the Golden Award Apple is presented to McAllen ISD, to our Superintendent, Dr. Rene Gutierrez. And the Apple Award was presented to McAllen ISD for having secured the largest pledges compared to 16 districts in the Hidalgo and Starr counties. This is the sixth time in a row the McAllen ISD has received this award, thanks to 803 McAllen ISD employees that contributed over $107,801 to support local United Way programs. Also, we are proud to announce that the highest per capita campus award is presented to Gonzales Elementary, which I'm a proud parent of former students now attending UT at Austin and Arkansas, University of Arkansas. So that tells you that school is always supporting achievement and also contributing to United Way. Gonzales Elementary has earned the highest per capita campus award for over 7 years. The per capita giving amount at the campus was 126, and the largest compared to hundreds of other campuses in Hidalgo and Starr counties. I would like to introduce Mr. Cesar Rodriguez from the City of McAllen to take the awards.
So we're going to skip Cesar and go on to me. That's okay. We want to keep this short. I just wanted to remind you about some of the wonderful work that you make possible in the community. I see a lot of principals here, and I want to thank each of you because this isn't possible without their support, leadership from the administration, Ms. Vega, the board support. And really, when we come into your space, we want to be able to educate your teams about services that are available because of their generosity. And there's so many. And I always hear, I didn't know about this, people didn't know about that. And usually it's because they've never had that need. So the services are out there. Of everything that is raised, and we serve Hidalgo and Starr counties, 99% stays in our community. We served in 2022, we're compiling 2023 numbers, 183,000 residents. So there's no other organization in our community where you give through one organization and impact so many people at the same time. I want to mention that our volunteer income tax assistance program just wrapped up because Lamar Academy is part of our team, our group of volunteers. That's one of our sites, and we had 10 volunteers that helped. Overall, we helped 3,100 families. Their returns were over 4.8 million. We're actually close to 5 million, and we saved them $930,000. Again, 10 students from McAllen ISD participated, and they volunteered about 148 hours between February and March. And so we're really, really proud of them. They're coming to a VITA awards banquet in a few evenings. Our programs impact individuals from cradle to end of life. And so we have programs that are in colonias, working with moms that are pregnant. Many programs like the Boys and Girls Club of McAllen, Palmer Drug Abuse Program, Red Cross, Salvation Army, all the way to end-of-life care like Comfort House. So again, when you're giving through the United Way, you're impacting people at different stages of their lives. This would not be possible without your support. So once again, we want to thank everyone for your time. And again, our board is extremely, extremely humbled by the support that we received when we step in onto your campuses. Thank you very much.
Thank you all so much. We're at item 7, proclamations. There are not any this evening. Item 8, donations, none this evening. 9, the consent agenda.
Move to approve, Madam President.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Saldivar, second by trustee De La Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, if I may,
Yes.
I'd like to move to reorganize the agenda and move item 10C1 from its current placement in the agenda to after item 12 on the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Saldivar and second by trustee Peña to move 10C1 after item 12. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
We're now at item 10A1, discussion and possible action on the instructional material allotment, IMA, and Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills Certification. Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, in accordance with the Texas Education Code 31.1011, local education agencies are required to certify annually that students have access to instructional materials covering all Texas essential knowledge and skills for all required subjects except for physical education. If there are any questions on this item, Ms. Angela Allen is available for any questions the board may have, and we are recommending action on this item.
I move that the district instructional materials allotment is used only for the allowable resources allowed by the Texas Education Code 31.0211.
Second, Madam President.
It's been moved by trustee Aliceda, second by trustee Saldivar. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move for the 2024-2025 school year, the district has instructional materials that cover all elements of the Texas knowledge and skills of the required curriculum identified in TEC 28.002 other than physical education for each subject and grade level.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Kittleman, second by trustee Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move that upon request, the district will provide the State Board of Education any public information for any instructional materials requisitioned or purchased by the district with IMA funds, TEC 31.101.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Peña, second by trustee Rivera. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We're at item 10A2, report regarding intention to apply for grants through the Department of Education, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and the U.S. Department of Justice. Dr. Gutierrez.
The U.S. Department of Justice and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration are providing grant opportunities that will increase support for students and families that have experienced violence. We are recommending, this is an information purposes item only, and Mr. Adrian Garza will be here for any information.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees.
Hi, Mr.
President Ms. Aliceda, Dr. Gutierrez. Yes, we're going to be applying for numerous grants right now, where there's actually 5 have been posted. And these 5 grants are centered around violence prevention for our school kiddos, and then also trauma-informed care, and also trauma-informed interventions. As of right now, we've received 2 grants from the Department of Justice, one for $1 million and one for $250,000, approximately. And so we're looking at acquiring more grants to, of course, supplement what we have as far as mental health services. Family treatment program's goal is to increase access to mental health services for all families and students, and that's our goal. So going out and getting funding from SAMHSA, from Department of Education, and Department of Justice is one of our goals. And as of right now, we're looking into submitting all the grants that are available through grants.gov by the mid-June, of course, before vacation, right? So about maybe mid-June. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Garza. Anyone have any questions? Thank you so much, Mr. Garza. On to item 10A3, discussion and possible action on request for proposal number 2024-1041, third-party Medicaid billing services. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration solicited proposals for third-party Medicaid billing services. We are recommending action on this item, and Ms. Laura Williams is available for any questions you may have on this proposal.
It's a two-part. It's a two-part.
No,
Well,
just
on
action.
our cover sheet, it has 2 parts. There's an A and a B. Approve the ranking and then approve to begin the contract negotiations. So Trustee Saldivar is correct. Would you like to make the motion, Trustee Saldivar?
Yes, ma'am. I move that the Board of Trustees approve the ranking of requests for proposals, number 2024-1041, third-party Medicaid billing service.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Saldivar and second by Trustee Rivera to approve the ranking of request for proposal number 2024-1041, third-party Medicaid billing services. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Madam Chair, I move to approve that administration begin contract negotiations with the highest ranked respondent.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee De La Garza and second by Trustee Rivera to approve the administration begin contract negotiations with the highest ranked respondent. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Ms. Williams. 10A4, report regarding UIL procedures in athletics update. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, I'm going to have Mr. McClenny, and we have our athletic coordinators from our 3 high schools to present updates regarding UIL procedures in athletics. This is an information item. It's for a presentation. Due to the recent events that we've been through with Nicky Rowe High School, we wanted to present a plan of action to the board and to the community so that what occurred at Nicky Rowe will not happen again. We're going to have some procedures and checks and balances to make sure that we follow the rules, that we participate fair like the rest of the districts, and so that McAllen ISD is also following and playing by the rules by the UIL. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McClenny. We have our coordinators here, our principal from Nicky Rowe. If there are any questions you may have during the presentation. But we wanted to, again, just show that we are taking this seriously and that we will have some procedures in place, and that we will be checking on our student athletes that who transfer either from outside the district or from within the district, that we have a protocol to follow to make sure we abide by the rules and that this doesn't occur again. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. McClenny.
Good evening, Madam President, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Gutierrez. I just wanted to report on the regarding the UIL procedures. And first of all, I want to thank all of our staff, our Assistant Athletic Director, Coach Lopez, our office staff who work a lot of hours and process approximately 2,800 purchase orders a year. Our athletic coordinators are here today, our assistant athletic coordinators. I know Coach Garcia is getting ready for a playoff run with the McAllen girls softball team. Also, our assistant coordinators and our coordinators at the middle school. They've been just champions this year as far as maximizing participation and so forth. But I want to go ahead and get into the report. Really, these are anchors that we talk about on a weekly and bi-weekly basis. So these were developed with the high school coordinators. We want to maximize participation. We want to have a great culture and climate in the athletic program. And we know sports and fine arts and everybody works together, extracurricular activities, to provide a great culture and climate at the different schools. Perfect practices, vertical alignment, all the way down to elementary now, all the way up to the high school, strength and conditioning. We want to make sure we market our programs. We want to make sure we set goals. We always improve. We always reflect, not only on goals on the field, but goals in life. And we'll get into that more later. We want to make sure that we have morals, values, and integrity in this business. Facilities, we're always talking facilities with FMO, how we can upgrade them within our budget. And we always want to be compliant with district UIO and state requirements. So I'll go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes. As per the decision by the State Executive Committee, we're required to report on our improved training procedures at Nicky Rowe High School, but we went ahead and made sure that we did that across the board. So I want you to see the dates and topics that we covered at our athletic coordinator and assistant athletic coordinator meetings. And when the hard evidence came in February, that's when we started doing those trainings. So we hit school board policy DH exhibit, Educators Code of Ethics. Every staff member in McAllen ISD every year goes through an ethics training. So that's very important to note. So we made sure that we went over the Code of Ethics again to make sure that we know that this is very important. We have to follow the rules set forth by the district, set forth by UIL, set forth by the state. And also there's an athletic code for coaches. So there's a Code of Ethics there. And we also really hit Section 1201 Athletic Code, not to recruit or entice any student to attend or participate at your school. Any inquiries from students outside of your school district or from another high school and multiple high school districts should be directed to the school superintendent or high school principal. So we already put in a system there. So if anybody asks, hey, I want to join your team, I'm outside of district, we're going to refer them to campus administration to answer all those questions. So that is going to be set in stone, and that's something that we're going to talk about every week. So if somebody comes up and says, hey, I want to go to your school, I cannot really talk to you about that. I'm going to refer you to our campus administration, and they will be able to answer any questions. This is in the UIL rules, so this is kind of a disclaimer statement. The residents in school district and attendance zone, that's section 442, we went over that. The previous athletic participation form, we went over that line by line. Home visit procedures, we standardized that process across the board amongst all three of our high schools. Every high school had a procedure, but it was kind of a different procedure. So we standardized that across the board. As soon as, it's one of those deals, no news is good news until you get bad news. Well, we got bad news, and we acted on it immediately. We standardized that process because in the documentation world, it's very important that we document. It's very important. Even though UIL, it's very gray, it's very vague, but we took that to another level to make sure we standardize that process. Recruiting, I'll come back to that disclaimer statement. Recruiting, we cannot recruit, okay, and changing schools for athletic purposes. So that was, we had a meeting on February 15th of 2024. That was the athletic coordinator meeting with the athletic coordinators at the high school, assistant athletic coordinators, and assistant athletic director. We had another meeting on February 26, 2024. School board policies, DFBB local. That's Section D personnel. It's very important that people know that we're in a business where you're held to a high standard. And when you break the rules, there's consequences. So I wanted to just be transparent. Me going into being in this job for 30 years, I have to know that this business is very serious. We're impacting kids. We're impacting our schools. We're impacting other coaches. We're impacting other colleagues. So it's very important that we go over that. We went over Section 442 again, residents of school districts and attendance zone. We went over the previous athletic participation form again. And again, we looked at our home visit procedures. So we really, on this date, we tied everything together as far as our home visit procedures, what we were going to do, our PAPF process, looking at where kids live, how many credits they have, making sure they live in our zone. Are they part of our feeder patterns? So, for instance, Mac High, if kids are coming from Morris or Travis, they've established residency. In Memorial, it's Brown and Kathy, and at Nikki Rowe, it's DeLeon and Possum. So we made sure we went through those. Anybody coming outside of your attendance zone, any coming outside of your attendance zone, we got to make sure that we follow through and do the paperwork properly. And a PAPF is really an investigative process. So all it is a checklist. So we got a checklist for that. It's kind of like a bullying investigation or a sexual harassment investigation or a 504 checklist or an ARD checklist. So they have a great checklist there. And all you're doing is investigating. Where'd the kid come from? Do they live with the parents? Do they live with guardians? And so forth. There's a lot of questions on there. So we went again on March 28th, same group. We again went over the Educator's Code of Ethics, the Educator Code for coaches, made sure that every coach knows about this disclaimer. And all that does is takes the pressure off of them. So if somebody's coming up to them again, hey, I really, Mackay girls track, just won region. Okay, they won regionals. So anybody comes to Coach Cantu, he'll have an answer. I really can't talk to you about your kid coming to our school, but our administration, you can go ask them any questions about that. Resident, again, section 442, we went over that. The previous athletic participation form, we reviewed the home visit procedures again. So at the end of the day, we are going to do the home visit procedures. That document is going to be signed by the principal, the athletic coordinator, the coach, the head coach, who's ultimately responsible for that, and also me. So we're going to review that. There's a portal that we can upload all of this documentation to, because in the documentation world, if it wasn't written down, it didn't happen. So we're going to upload that into the portal, and so we standardize that procedure. And really, I've talked to a lot of coaches also, and they said, thank you. That takes the pressure off of them. Also, Dr. Gutierrez approved our truancy officers making a home visit, just to double check, triple check, kind of a third party, where they will probably be the first ones to go and do the home visits. I've been through a lot of home visits, and it's a process, okay? And our truancy officers do a great job of doing that and just making sure everything's on the up and up. And again, on April 15th, everything is the same there, and then we went over the TEA, UIL side by side. So that's another document, very important as far as grades, as far as credits, as far as what you can do, what you can't do, and so forth. That's another great document that we went over again. And again, I can add again today. We have a coordinator meeting usually every Monday. We covered the same stuff again. We are going to communicate that. We're going to over-communicate that. And we're going to make sure that we do everything right in this district, because this does not define our athletic program. We've had some adversity, I understand that, but we're dealing with it. And that's the thing about adversity. You can talk about it, but it's about the action of getting through the adversity and becoming better. I'm a very positive person, and we're going to take something positive out of this, because 99 things we're doing great. One thing is overbearing that, and we don't want that, because we got great kids in this district. We got great families. We got great community members that invest in their kids and rely on us to make sure that we are following through and doing what we're supposed to do to take care of these kids. So you go to the next one, those dates, and really Rowe High School was the only one that needed to do this, but we expanded it to the other two high schools. So our coordinators and assistant coordinators turned that around and had very specific meetings on certain dates with the head coaches overall, to make sure everybody knows the importance and the seriousness of following UIL rules. So you can see the dates there. That's going to be number one pretty much on everybody's agenda through this year and next year. And I've also decided next year we're going to break our trainings up into individual high schools, so you have a smaller environment instead of overall. And so I just wanted to share those dates. Also, I wanted to report that we've already sent all of these dates, this report. I've sent all the documentation of our meetings, along with their meetings that they turned around to their coaches, to the District Executive Committee and also UIL. So that has been sent in. So I also just want to, we've had some adversity. We're going through, we're getting through it, and we're going to get better because of it. But I also wanted to talk about the great things that are going on. But if we want to stop right here, if there's any questions.
Yeah, let me pause just so that, Mr. McClenny, thank you for the presentation, but so that we presented what the process is going to be now. But if I would pause before we go into the next section, just to see if are there any questions from the board, because he covered what the procedures and the protocol is going to be for student athletes who transfer. But I want to say that I don't want to discourage any kids or any students from coming to McAllen ISD or going to the school of their choice. We don't want to discourage them, especially the student athletes. We just want everyone to know that there is a process that we all need to follow throughout the state, and we're just making sure that we are following that process like any other district in the state of Texas. And I encourage student athletes or students to continue to make McAllen ISD their choice, and especially the student athletes, for them to know that they're welcome to McAllen ISD, but we just got to follow the process like any other district in the state of Texas. But are there any questions that you all may have?
I have, I guess, one
Yes,
question, comment. As y'all know, I'm a huge sports parent, and sports and fine arts can change lives for families. And kids and families start their investments as early as Boys and Girls Club, Hoopsters, or whatever program, track or fine arts, and drama, since they're little. And listening to that hearing with UIL and how close it got to them shutting down athletics, not just for Roe, but for the entire district, would have been devastating for us and for families who depend on that. If you look at our board calendar, every other day it's a signing or a commitment from one of our athletes or one of our fine arts students committing to go to college to play on at the next level. So I appreciate the work that has gone in to prevent this from happening in the future, but it is very concerning how far it got from whenever the complaint was made to when, the first meeting turned around in February. I would hope that any complaint or any concern is handled with extreme diligence and that we respond in a timely manner so that it doesn't happen the way that it's happened, because it overshadows all of the positives that these kids and families commit to in our district. Our soccer teams, our track teams right now, our golf teams that are at state. There's just so many families that are committed not just to academics, but athletics and fine arts. And so it worries me that we got this far. And then it seems that some parents feel that, well, if this happened in basketball, well then, if they don't like a coach, they're going to use it to weaponize this method to try to get rid of a coach that they may not like, or their child isn't getting the play time. And so I urge our coaches and our athletic coordinators to listen to the parents. But this, trying to use that as a way to punish a coach or a program could be further devastating to our district, and it's not fair to all the other schools that play by the rules and the athletes and fine arts that play by the rules for just an angry parent to use this. So I'm glad the other situation was resolved quickly, but I hope that whether it be during a coach's section in a booster meeting, that this be brought up and it be more open to families to better understand what is happening and the consequences that these allegations can have on not just their homeschool program, but on the entire district, because we have too much at stake, not just for the district, but families that are depending on the abilities for their child to showcase their talents and their commitments and their hard work ethic And I hope that the staff understands that and will learn from this, because it's heartbreaking being a McAllen grad myself, and scary at the same time, because, you know, our family has been changed because of the experience that we had as track parents, and now he's graduating as in college in track and continuing on. And so I know that we are not the only ones. Right. And so it's important that we take that seriously and that we hold that to the highest level for everybody involved.
Absolutely, I 100% agree. And Roe was put on probation, which is more of probation for the adults. At the end of the day. So they will still be able to compete next year. Right. They will still be able to go for a district championship. They will still be able to go to the playoffs. So I want anybody out there listening, Roe, as far as the kids participating and being able to win district, go to the playoffs and so forth, that has not been compromised whatsoever.
Absolutely. And that was actually brought, I walked into a restaurant and a Roe parent said, well, are we going to have sports at Roe next year? And so that's why I'm telling you,
Yes.
there is a miscommunication out there. So as early as you can, I know spring ball is starting, but like
Right.
have those conversations with your booster clubs and your parents that this is the way forward, and we're, you know, our kids are ready and able, and we're going to compete.
I know Mark May's office did a good job of putting out a statement. I know that Mr. Gutierrez also put out a statement in a letter form to the Roe community, also the De Leon community, and also the Fossum community. I know I talked to a lot of parents. I talked to booster club parents and so forth, and overwhelmingly they understood that it's not going to affect the kids, but we need to over-communicate that as much as possible. And going into our preseason parent meetings next year especially, we need to let parents know that it's not going to affect their kids' ability to compete at Roe High School. I know that community very well just because my daughter just graduated last year, so I know all three communities very well, and I've had conversations with a lot of families in that community, and we just want to move forward, learn from this, get through this adversity, and the State Executive Committee at the end of the day, you're at their mercy, and that's another thing. So any other questions? Anything?
I think Trustee De La Garza Lopez covered it very well. And I think she speaks for the board.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. McClaney.
All right.
Mr. McClenny, if you can just, I know we have other items you want to cover with
Yeah, it
us.
won't take long.
And if can you give us a brief summary of some of the great things that are happening in our athletic program? If you can just share with us some of those.
Well, I just want to show that our middle school numbers compared to 18-19, we're up 654 more kids in middle school athletics. So that would be our 5th biggest middle school right now. So we got huge numbers. Maybe our enrollment's going down, but our athletic numbers are going up. And the reality is 95 to 98% of those kids, if they're in athletics in 7th and 8th grade, it's going to transition to the high schools. So another thing is our Elevate numbers. Wanted to go over those. We are plus 2,000, over 2,000 kids as compared to 18-19 participating in Elevate. So I want to thank the Boys and Girls Club of McAllen, Delinda, Andy, and Jordan. We work every day, multiple times a week with them to get these numbers up. We had 2,455 participants in Elevate last year in all of those sports. So we had all of our championship games at our comprehensive high schools this past year, and we were able to pivot this year with some field issues and have our 6th grade Elevate baseball at our fields. So that worked out real well. We had a record number of scholarships given to kids in need this year with our Elevate program, so I want to thank them, along with our elementary PE coaches and all the different parent volunteers that coach the teams, our MISD staff, and so forth. Also, culture and climate, I'll go through this one just real quick. I mean, culture and climate is very important in any organization, so these are just some of the things that we do to take care of culture and climate. Also, there's always some type of leadership component with our meetings, so those are some of the things that we cover there. Perfect practices, you know, we want our practices to be as perfect as possible. So our coaches know that, and we have a lot of middle school, high school preseason coaching clinics. So our middle school coaches know exactly what the high school coaches want. Another thing is vertical alignment. I think we've taken that to another level. We've gone all the way down to the elementary now. So all of our high school programs know their elementary feeders, and they make communication with them. They get down to talking to those PE coaches and staff down. They're even there in the mornings, opening up the doors for the kiddos in the morning and so forth. So that has gone to another level also. So I really appreciate their work. Our elementary cross-country meet's been a hit the last few years, and our elementary track meet. Strength and conditioning, this is huge. This is really taking us to another level. We have strength and conditioning going on at all 6 middle schools. We have equipment for all 6 of our middle schools now. We have weight rooms for all 6 of our middle schools now. And our injury claims are down over 50% the last 2 years, and we attribute this not only to our great coaches and the number of kids that we do have in athletics that are working out, but also to our strength and conditioning program. It's made a huge difference. We averaged about 118 claims the last 2 years. Pre-pandemic, we were averaging over 250. And that actually saves on our insurance in the district. The less claims you have, the less your premiums are going to be. And also coming out of the pandemic, just trying to get the kids healthy again. Not only healthy physically, but healthy mentally. As we know, all the research out there as far as mental health, exercise is one of the biggest helps as far as mental health and physical health, exercise. And this is something that they're learning all the way down to 6th grade, because we introduced this in 6th grade, technique and so forth, which is going to help them the rest of their life. This is a lifelong activity, strength and conditioning, that they can do the rest of their life. And I have a 94-year-old dad that works out 3 to 4 days a week. And he's 94 because of that. Marketing our programs, I could talk about all day about all the great programs. We had back-to-back state appearances by our Memorial Golf team. We had 2 girls soccer teams at the regional tournament in back-to-back years. We had the McAllen girls track team win regionals for the first time in the history of McAllen High School, McAllen ISD. And for the first team since the Fedia group, I believe in the late 70s, and the girls program to win regionals. That's huge. But first one in 5A for sure in the history of the Valley. We also do goal setting around grades, around behavior, around STAR, around attendance, and around service. And we've also added TSI there. Facilities, I want to thank Mr. Trevino and his crew. We've converted 4 portable buildings to weight rooms. That's been a game changer. We gained about 1,600 square feet there, and we're able to run our middle school programs through those weight rooms, which is going to, in turn, make them better athletes, which in turn is going to make them more healthy and better on the court and the field. Also, just if you look there, that's a portable that was converted to a weight room. So you see there all the equipment that we bought. So our kids can get the workout that they need. And remember, we got 10 to 20% of our kids that get outside training. But we got to take care of the 80% that don't. And when we take care of the 80 to 90%, look out. Because they deserve it just as much as everybody else. And that's where Elevates come in. That's where strength and conditioning has come in at the middle school and the high school level. And so that's just been a game changer right there. And equipment, you know, I want to thank y'all. We've changed some of our procedures there. We have deadlines now the last few years. We're not getting everything shipped to the warehouse, which really everything was getting shipped to the warehouse. The warehouse would bring it to the stadium, and then the coaches would come pick it up at the stadium. Now we're getting everything directly delivered to the 6 middle schools and 3 high schools. That's made a huge change. That's kind of freed up our warehouse people to do other things. And the hard deadlines also. So we're not losing money out of this year's budget and next year's budget because we don't get it in on time. So every bit of our equipment's already been ordered. It will all be in before June 30th. So we don't take a hit out of this year's budget and next year's budget. So that's some other processes that we've taken care of. But rest assured, we will be better. We will get better. We are going to get better. We already are better. And this will not define us as McAllen ISD. We have great programs. We have great coaches. We have 256 coaches in our district. We got about 54 head coaches in our district. And I want to thank each and every one of them for their hard work and dedication and the hours that they pour in to our student athletes in McAllen ISD and beyond. Because we've really hyped up having some type of a performance at all of our athletic events to make sure that we are in line with fine arts. And it's not two separate programs. It's extracurricular activities, and it's an experience for all of our kids in McAllen ISD. And we never know when it's going to be a life-changing experience for these kiddos. So that's my report. Any other questions?
Thank you so much, Mr. McClaney. We appreciate everything you and your staff does, all the coaches. Thank you all for coming this evening as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Item 10B, instructional leadership items. There was nothing this evening. 10C1 has been moved to after number 12. We're at 10D, business and operations items. Lorena Garcia, 10D1, report regarding the financial and investment report for the quarter of January through March 2024. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, this is an information item, and Ms. Lorena Garcia will present on the financials and the investment report. Go ahead, Ms. Garcia.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you. Today we're going to talk about the report regarding the financial and investment report for the quarter of January through March. We first will start off with, with the comparison of budget to revenues, expenditures, and encumbrances. And let's first pay attention to column D, which is our year-to-date actuals. In the revenue arena, we have year-to-date actual expenditures through the end of March were 170. I'm sorry, not expenditures, revenues were 175,522,549. In the expenditures area, they were 169,095,815. This puts us at 6.4 million in revenues over expenditures. And then moving on, we also have attached the quarterly report for our investments as of March 30/31. This report is produced by Meter Public Funds. Our beginning book value as of December 31st, 2023 was 157,654,840, and ending book value as of March 31st was 171,202,976. And then moving on through the report, we have some important facts about our portfolio. Most importantly, the earnings for the current month were $723,009.14. This is total earnings and interest earnings, bringing the current year to $5.4 million, $5,496,026.20. And this concludes the presentation on the financial and investment report.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. We're now on to item 10D2, discussion of possible action on competitive seal proposal number 2024-1043, Dr. Rodney D. Cathy Middle School fire alarm upgrades. Dr. Gutierrez?
Yes, administration solicited proposals for fire alarm upgrades for Cathy Middle School. Mr. Trevino is available for any questions you may have on this item. And this is a three-part item.
Madam President, I move to approve the ranking for selection of general contractor for competitive seal proposal CPS number 2024-1043, Dr. Rodney D. Cathy Middle School fire alarm upgrades.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Saldivar and second by Trustee Rivera. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Madam President, I move that the Board of Trustees approve that administration begin with negotiations with the highest ranked contractor. If the district is unable to negotiate a satisfactory contract with the selected contractor, the district shall, formally and in writing, end negotiations with that contractor.
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Rivera, second by Trustee Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. I authorize the superintendent to execute a contract in accordance with the procedures set out in Texas Government Code Section 2269.254 once contract negotiations have been successfully achieved. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Aliceta, second by trustee Pena. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. 10D3, discussion and possible action on disposal of vehicles and buses. Dr. Gutierrez.
Well, yes, so administration is recommending approval to dispose of a vehicle through public auction. Mr. Trevino is available for any questions you may have, and we are recommending action on this item.
Madam Chair, I move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee De La Garza, second by trustee Rivera. Do you have discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. We were in a good cadence, but I have a question. Is anybody from the district going to be present at the sale and monitor and approve or not approve the actual sale of that particular unit or vehicle?
Hello, Mr. Trevino.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Sorry to
Good
get you up
evening,
here.
members of the board president, and Dr. Gutierrez. As far as the, when anything is sent out to auction, nobody's ever been present there. It's just board policy just to go ahead and go through the public auction services. But if the board does wish to have someone present, we could make someone available, or we could easily set a minimum on anything that is being sold.
Dr. Gutierrez, this is within your purview, but my experience, having done that for a living, is we monitored and we approved or disapproved, and we also had a minimum bid. So if we don't have any of that, it's something for you to consider. It's just, that's a concern.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, it's been moved by trustee De La Garza and second by trustee Rivera. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 10D4, discussion and possible action on declaring miscellaneous items as surplus and authorized disposal through auction.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Pena and second by trustee De La Garza. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. 10E, Board of Trustee items. Approval of the Board of Education meeting minutes for the April 8th and the April 15th meetings.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Rivera, second by trustee De La Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. 10E2, annual announcement of continuing education of the board members. Under the State Board of Education Code, the board president is required to announce the name of each member who has completed the required continuing education, has exceeded the required continuing education, and is deficient. In one local district orientation, all first-year board members have completed the local district orientation training. Item 2, orientation to the Texas Education Code. All first-year board members have completed the Texas Education Code training. Item 3, the post-legislative update to the Texas Education Code. All board members with more than 1 year of service have completed this. Item 4, team building. The entire board has completed the team building as is required. Item 5, additional continuing education. All board members have completed additional continuing education requirements. Number 6, evaluating and improving student outcomes. The following board members have completed the biannual training. Trustee Aliceda, De La Garza, Regalado, Rivera, and Saldivar. The following board members are deficient. Trustee Kittleman and Trustee Pena. Item 7, sexual abuse, human trafficking, and other maltreatment of children. All board members have completed this. Item 8, school safety. All board members have completed this training. Exceeding required continuing education, Trustee Aliceda has exceeded by 15 hours. Trustee De La Garza has exceeded by 1.75 hours. Trustee Kittleman has exceeded by 10.5 hours. Trustee Regalado by 7.25 hours. Trustee Rivera has exceeded by 20 hours. Trustee Saldivar by 6 hours. And Trustee Pena by 9 hours. That is my announcement. Now we're on to 10E3, discussion and possible action of the travel of Board of Trustees. This requires action this evening. It is on page 262 of your packet. I believe it's for traveling to attending the Padre Island training.
I move to approve the travel for the Board of Trustees for the South Padre Island event, classes that are being offered.
A second.
It's been moved by trustee Saldivar and second by trustee Rivera. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We will now, at 6 p.m., recess to close session. 072, 551.074, and 551.076, and 551.089 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following: discussion of human resources recommendations for the school year 23-24, discussion of human resources employee resignations and retirees for school year 23-24, discussion regarding school safety and security, pending and/or potential litigation, and possible real estate acquisition. At 6:01 p.m., we will be moving and going into closed session. It is 7:36 PM and we are reconvening in open session. We are at item 10C1.
Yes, Madam President and board members, I recommend that we pull this item for further evaluation.
Okay, we're now at item 12, reconvene open session. Item 13, action on items in closed session. 13A, discussion and possible action of human resources recommendations for school year 23-24. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, we're recommending action on this item. HR submitted a list of recommendations for the 23-24 school year under a separate cover that were discussed during closed session.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee De La Garza and second by trustee Saldivar. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 13B, discussion of human resources, employee resignations, and retirees for school year 23-24. Dr. Gutierrez?
This item is for information purposes only, and Human Resources submitted a list of resignations and retirees for the 23-24 school year under a separate cover that were discussed in closed session.
Thank you. 13C, discussion regarding school safety and security. That was an executive, and there was no action there. 13D, pending and/or potential litigation.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. 13E, possible real estate acquisition.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Mr. Ball. Item 14, schedule of future meetings. A special board meeting, our budget workshop, May 6th. A regular board meeting, May 13th. A special board meeting of the board reorganization, May 20th. Special board meeting of student recognitions, May 20th. Regular board meeting, May 28th. And a special board meeting of budget workshop, May 29th. Item 15, adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by trustee Saldivar, second by trustee De La Garza to adjourn at 7:37 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned.